so he'll have a little bit to say about that for you as well. So other than that, we got TV game Thursday night, and we'll tip. It'll be 8:00 something, 8:05 or 6 that will tip. And that's also one of the ESPN games where the announcers are in a studio in Bristol calling the game. The announcers won't exactly be in our zip code. So that'll be an experiment that I'll look forward to trying. Yeah.
Thursday?
Yeah. Yeah. I think they've done 40 games already like that. So they're trying it out. So
They're getting cheap.
yeah,
Are
we'll
they
see.
sending a camera crew, or are they just taking
Yeah, everything will be here like normal except for the announcers and the producer. So it will be interesting. All right, Coach. Why don't you maybe start with your Infinity deal and moving on? How about that?
Yeah, it's great. Really appreciate the help of Amy over in marketing. She's done a terrific job. It's the first time that we've been able to move on. I just think we've done a terrific job promoting it and putting an emphasis on raising awareness, A, to the challenge, and B, to the fight against lupus. So appreciate all her help over there. And today, right now, voting opens for the second round, and now the goal is to finish in the top 16 again so we can move on to the next round. And so go to ESPN.com and vote every day, and appreciate everybody's help. And today's a new day, and open up for questions.
Taking two pretty good punches on two pretty good teams. 2-game lead now in the conference. We're near the halfway point. Things are going well for the team right now. I know you guys have won one game, one day, but just kind of talk about where you're at right now.
The guys are doing a good job staying in the moment. It's a tough game up at Edwardsville. It has been the last 3 years. I don't think we've shot higher than, I think 39% was the best we've shot there the last 3 years. Listening to Jeff the other night on the news, I think we shot 35 this year, 50 from the free throw line, and so it just could never pull away. And it had been like that. Even last year's game, we were up 6, never pulled away, and then we lost it at the end. This year we were able to make some big offensive rebounds late, and we were able to get out of there. So I thought Eastern Illinois, we played. It was great having that type of environment. You know, I think it helped us.
You talk about watching the team overcoming that. I think last year's team might have had a little bit more trouble holding on to those games. Talk about the growth of the team, watching them take those punches and still overcome it, especially when you don't score for almost 2 minutes against SIU either way.
Yeah, I mean, we missed some shots. We missed some free throws. I mean, it's tough to win on the road when you shoot 35 from the field and 50 from the line. And so we missed some bunnies. We missed some open threes. You know, but credit Edwardsville. They did a good job. And we just weren't able to break away. And so this team's grown. They grew last year from start to finish, and they've grown a lot since November. You know, we still got a long way to go, though, and so we got to continue to get better. Got to continue to grow in a couple, you know, areas for us to continue to improve. And so the team's healthy, though, now. You know, TJ, we got to get him, figure out what's going on with him. He's cramping a little bit too much. He has no body fat, so that doesn't help. But, you know, early in the year, I mean, obviously we weren't playing good. The schedule was, you know, we had played some good teams, but, you know, when you don't have, Farrell was hurt. You know, we were missing Rambo, who was one of our guys with some experience early. And so these guys have done a good job of putting egos aside and playing for the right reasons. And so that's why we're better. That's why we're in the position we are now. And now we got to surrender even more to take the next step.
You mentioned having trouble shooting it at Edwardsville. Is there something about the shooting background there, or the facility, that you think is giving your guys trouble?
Nobody shoots.
Yeah. That's what everybody says. You know, nobody shoots good there, so I don't know. There's nothing. I don't think there's any rhyme or reason. We had some open looks. I mean, you see the first play of the game, Jeff Moss's patented shot is his little floater outside of his threes, and he misses a 2-footer. And then, you know, it's I think Sapp misses wide open 3 the next possession, and late in the game, Cam's got a layup, and then he misses. And so, you know, it's just, it is what it is. I mean, I think people devalue sometimes just because they just look at certain leagues and they say, well, it's you should win that game. You should win that game. You should win that game. And I'm sitting at home yesterday after church watching Virginia and Virginia Tech. Now Virginia Tech, I follow them because my relationship and friendship with Isaac, that we work together here as assistants. But they got and they're rebuilding and they're going to be very good shortly. But right now, they're not very good. So, but they get beat at home by App State. They get beat at home by Radford. Okay, but they've got the number 2 team on the country beaten, and somehow Virginia, and they're terrific, come out away with a win. So, regardless of the league, regardless of the opponent, it's hard to win on the road in conference play. And I think some people make a big deal. It's in the BCS leagues, it's hard to win on the road, but in our league, it's just supposed to happen.
The winning streak currently is at 15. I know sometimes when you have long winning streaks, pressure builds to continue that. I know when y'all went 23-0, the pressure was building, a little bit different circumstances then. But how do you keep the team, obviously it's win the day, but how do you keep that team focused going forward and not paying too much attention to that winning streak and the pressures that come along with it?
I talked to him today a little bit just about our foundation and just reinstilling our foundation. Talk about key points with that. But I mean, we're 7 games into a 16 league game schedule, so it's not about how many games in a row. We're trying to win a conference championship, and that's our goal. That's our only goal, and that's our mission statement. I mean, that's what we're set to do. It's not about 15 in a row. It's not about 3 in a row. It's just about we need to win Thursday because it's a conference game, and that's it. And so I think our guys understand that, and we do have a stretch of home games here, 4 to 5 at home. It obviously kind of felt weird being at home the other day. We hadn't been at home a lot. I mean, we've been home 3 games in the last basically 2 months. We've played home 3 times. Western, Alabama A&M. So that's after the Western game. We've been at home. Alabama A&M, and I'm sorry, Illinois State. I forget Illinois State, but when you take that break, you know what I mean, and from the Illinois State game, you have Alabama A&M, then you go 5 out of 7. You came home for the Belmont game. It was kind of like, man, we hadn't been here in forever, one time, in about 30 days. So, but for us, it's not where we play. We just got to play the right way. But Eastern, they'll be so locked in. I mean, they're going to come in here with their backs against the wall. Jeff does such a good job. They play differently, so you got to prepare both offensively and defensively for them.
Cam being named Player of the Week again, most likely. I think Jake said he's 24 points away from 1,000. It seems like after that EIU game, he was getting a little bit more publicity nationally. I know Doug Gottlieb tweeted out saying he was impressed by him. Do you think people are nationally finally taking notice of Cam a little bit? I know you talked about ESPN. They don't really talk about it.
They should. I mean, I wouldn't trade him for anybody. There's no package you could put together and say, hey, you want this guy for this guy. No, I'm not doing it. There's no way. And I've seen good players come through here. I watch TV. I watch games all the time. When I'm watching my tape at home, I just have the TV on. I'm not giving him up for anybody. And we've been fortunate to have guys that have great overseas jobs. We've got guys that been here that played in the NBA. I'm not Cam special. He deserves all the accolades. We don't even, to be honest, I don't even know who's been a Player of the Week this whole year. We've never mentioned to our team one time. And so if Dave tells you that, that's great for you guys. We don't even talk about it. That doesn't matter. The best tweet I saw last night, Cam tweeted out, we're 0-0. And that's our mentality. That's what our focus has to be. We've got a lot of people still to, prove wrong, grab their attention. This isn't the same team, though, we played with in November, like I said. People don't know for our situation in November. We need to make sure they know that as we go down the pipe, but they don't know that. And so Doug Gottlieb was a great point guard at Oklahoma State. Actually, I hosted him as when I was at Alabama. I was his host for when he visited when he was transferring from Notre Dame. He probably doesn't remember that. But it was good that, that's why that CBS package is so good for our league, because you have a studio and you have Wally Zerbiak you have Doug Gottlieb talking about our team, our program, our league, our university. It's so good, and but our league's really good, and we got a team coming in here, won at Miami by 28. Yeah, 28. So that's remarkable. So we've got to be ready. But Cam deserves all the accolades. He's as good as there is out there. I mean, he should be a Wooden Award guy. People should be talking about him. He's a great kid too. I mean, he's got the whole package.
We talk about him buying into it because we were picking on Saturday night that's what he says now. Want to know? He has completely bought in the whole program. How important is that for you guys?
Well, he's our leader. I mean, we have 3 seniors that are our leaders, but he's our guy. I mean, he's our point guard. He's the one that's driving this bus. We're all he's driving it, and we all know that, and we're all okay with that. And we beat Edwardsville the other night, and I talked to the team the other night about the stay on your wall and trying to really just get them grounded a little bit and about staying focused and understanding who they represent and what they represent. And so we broke it down, stay on your wall, and Cam, and I like that he did this because I trust him completely. He said, Coach, this team's DTP, drive the piling. And I said, you know what, you're right, this is a new team. That's the message to that team to understand, because the message is a good message, but this team has its own identity, and this team has its own thought process, and it's just drive the piling, build our foundation, and grow our foundation, and win today.
I think another impressive stat on top of your winning streak is that you're 16-0 after you lead with 5 minutes left in the game. Thank you, Dave, for that stat. But talk about that. I mean, that's when you're supposed to put the foot down on the neck, and that's when you're really supposed to drive, and you guys have done that more often than not this season.
We got good guard play. Good guard play goes a long way. So we got good guard play. I would say we got good free throw shooters. I don't know if we do or not, but we can offensive rebound. But, it's like Farrell said. He goes, oh, man, Coach, don't lose trust in me. I said, man, he's our senior. I'm rolling with him. Just like we roll with Ed Daniel, and he missed those free throws at Belmont, but shoot, the year before he made 2. So you got to roll with the guys that put you in position to be successful. And Farrell's done a lot for our team, and so he'll make them next time he's in that situation, just like Cam will, just like Jarvis, Sapp, whoever's in it.
We talked a little about Eastern Kentucky coming up. They beat Miami by 28, but they're also coming off of back-to-back losses. Does that make them even more dangerous because they've lost?
I think it makes them real dangerous. I think they're in the midst of a 4-game road swing, and the only reason I know that is because I was listening to the conference call. I think that's right. I'm not 100% sure. But it's just road play. I mean, they've been on the road. They went to Jacksonville. They led big and lost it. They went to Tech. They led big and lost it. Both games kind of the same way. I just started watching. I watched our games from last night. I'm watching their stuff from this year now. So I don't know too much exactly about them outside of Walden and Stutz. I know are terrific. But Eastern, whether they were 16-0 or 8-8, they're going to be a beast to play because they're just different. They play different, and Jeff's done such a good job because he's totally changed the way he coached, and that shows how good of a coach he is because he used to play such a certain style. It was, makes 1-3-1, misses man, maybe some 2-3-3-2 zone. He ran all the beeline stuff. Now he's totally changed to, basically kind of the Frank Martin defensive mentality to where they overplay everything. They make you make plays. They'll change defenses at times. And then offensively, they spread you out and they drive you and they put shooters out. So they're very, very tough to prepare for. So we've got to be our best game.
This is, I don't know if this is something that you've thought about or not, but if you were to win out the regular season, you think you would be deserving of an at-large bid, should that be necessary?
Honestly, there's no doubt about it. It shouldn't even be close. And that's all I'll say about it, and then we'll get back. But it shouldn't even be close. It shouldn't even be for debate because Dave will have all this stuff about what our team was with early. I mean, we had a guy, Farrell was our dominant rebounder. The guy wasn't even playing early in the year. You know what I mean? He was playing, but we were playing a guy that wasn't needing to be playing. I mean, he was hurt. You know, we had a guy ineligible. So it's a different team, it's different makeup, and they should factor that in for the mid-majors just like they would factor it in for the high majors. And so I'm sure he's got all that stuff ready to roll. But that's a long, long way off. And so, but I think we've got some good quality wins, non-conference. And then I think if you dominate your conference and people have seen the eye test and watched you play, and that's a good thing about our league, having those packages that they can say, hey, you tell me 38 other deserving teams. Just because you're in the BCS leagues and you're sixth place, it doesn't mean you're better. You know, I mean, you just look, and I didn't realize, and, you know, you're good offensively because you're getting stops, but I think we're top 25 in the country in 7 offensive stats. That's remarkable, and that's a credit to our guys being selfless, and obviously being good players.
When you talk about those offensive stats, does that make you crazy because you want to be so defensive minded?
No, you know, that's what the guy I was playing. I like going back through the CBS games or the ESPN games just to see what stats they put up to talk about our program and different things. And they put that stat up, and I just heard what the commentary said, and he goes, you know, don't be, you know, everybody thinks you got to be real tricky, and you know, man, you're not running a lot of stuff. You just kind of let them play, and it works, you know. So don't get caught up in what everybody thinks. You know, do what you need to do to help your team win. And so we are good offensively. We're super good offensively, but you got to get stops to be really good offensively. And so if we're known for our offense and we're winning, that's great. And if we're winning and it's because we got great players, that's even better, you know, because I just want these kids to win.
Don't you think the improvement that we've made on the defense and rebounding is the difference between us winning that game Saturday versus last year this Saturday?
Yeah, I think our guys have just gotten better defensively, and people don't talk about it, and that's the only reason I brought it up. I just think we've gotten better. I mean, you look at our conference defensive stats; they're really, really good. You want to be in the mid-30s. We're 38% defensive field goal percentage. I mean, Kentucky's probably 30, but they're just off the charts super. Our defensive 3 is probably a little too high. That should be in the 20s, but you're +9 rebounding, and you're only giving up 63 points a game, and we try to play extremely fast. So those are some good numbers. Our biggest deficiency is we just haven't been a great free throw shooting team for whatever, really since I've been the head coach. We hadn't been a maybe my first year, I think, that team may have been a good free throw shooting team because Jawan, Isaiah, Dante, Ivan, Zayd, all those guys could make free throws. So, you know, free throw shooting is one thing, but I think our defense is better, though. I think it's better, and I think it's helped us. And if we continue to grow defensively, then we continue to play fast.
Coach, how valuable has it been what's it been like having Jawan and Aubrey with you?
They're great, man. They're great. I just think I was watching Johnny Dawkins last night on a Men of March show. I just think, and I've been to Kentucky and watched them work out, and you see Tony Delk walking around or Scott Pageant, and those guys are doing something different now. They're not there now. I just think special programs, elite programs, they keep former players involved. They get them back integrated into the program. It's something I've always thought. I talked to all my former players that I went to school with. I didn't play at Alabama, but all the guys, I'm close with a lot of those, you know, Antonio McDyess or Roy Rogers, guys that are instrumental players during the time I was there, even Jason Caffey and those guys that were great, great players. You want those guys to know that they're a part of this program. And I didn't know Aubrey from anybody. And he just reached out and ended up working out, and he worked his tail off. He's back getting his degree, and he's good. He's been great. And Jawan he's the first kid we ever signed when we got here. And I'm still close with his mom and him. And, you know, those relationships are important to the success of your program because I remember Jawan, he came in office, we were getting whipped, we were in the beginning of the year, and he said, Coach, I don't like seeing you like this, man, you know. And so, obviously my relationship with Jawan is different than it is with Aubrey because of the time, but close with both those guys, and they both are huge, huge assets for our program. And, you know, that's why the reunion, stuff like that is things you got to do every year. And it's important for this program to do things like that.
All right, Steve, thank you, sir.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate you sitting down with us.